So before we move on to the Argentina game, I suppose the biggest talking point of the last few weeks has been Matera's vile racist tweets. I know he had his punishment rescinded by the Argentina Rugby Union amid reports of a player revolt if they didn't. Like, how poor was that, Zebo?
Yeah, pretty poor, I think. Um, Disappointing, like it's not as if those tweets are 20 or 30 years ago, they're only 7, 8 years ago, so it's pretty disgusting. Um, and people, say he can change or whatever, but I think if you're saying things of that, with of that severity, I think you just probably get better at hiding it. Hiding your racism. I think that's very prominent in this day and age. A lot of people are just, closet racists, and I'd never expect to have seen something like that. I'd never ever play in a team with him in a change room, or someone like that, or someone who's done something like that in the past. I think, to say something like that, it wasn't exactly a slip of the tongue or something. That's literally one of the worst things you can say, or one of the worst mentalities you can have. And I've spoken to people who know him, and they say, he's had a tough childhood and he's been through a lot, so you can understand. But moving away from him, sorry, you can't understand anything. No, I just understand, is the point of view that he might have changed, and rugby might have helped him grow, but I still think he's just better at hiding it, like a lot of other racists. But the more disappointing thing would be World Rugby, for sure, that it took them 2 weeks or something to say something, to even more than 2 weeks. I think they said something like they were investigating or trying to find out. Like, the tweets are there, like black and white. You look at them, you read them. Like, surely they've had dialogue with the UAR before this. So I just think it's very disappointing. Hugo Manya put it quite well in his chat with BT Sport. That rugby wants to combat racism until rugby has to combat racism, and it's very, very disappointing that nothing has been said or done, and it was such a great opportunity to do so.
Is that what it took for Oogs to sort of say something for them to make an action, was it?
He was the first person that came out and said that he was disappointed in World Rugby and properly had a go at them. Everything up until then had been just specifically about Matera and the comments. Pretty much like the World Rugby hadn't been highlighted like they were by Ugo brilliantly. So, and literally it was the next day or 2 days later that they released an official statement. But it's still over 2.5 weeks since they'd come out. I just think it's, very, very poor form.
Especially with them pushing all, everything else with going on with Black Lives Matter and stuff, and with the microscope on at the moment, you'd think, come on, act on it a bit quicker than that.
Yeah, but it just shows you that it's just a tick of the box. Like, they're just keeping up with the trend, and it's just a few clicks. It's not at the forefront of their minds. It's not something that they're, trying their hardest to eradicate. Clearly, if it's taken them over 2 weeks to say something, but that's something in general. It's not even something specific. They've had over 2 weeks to come up with, change that they could enforce, or a punishment that they can enforce, or something. But no, 2 weeks to just say bullshit, basically, that, oh yeah, we're looking at the situation. Go over here. It's pathetic.